Well, hello folks. Now, back to this. 10 by 8. And what I have done, this is a 10 by 8 canvas on board. What I've done is a very, very thinned out wash of oxide red, covered the board and then wiped it off. And it's left this nice creamy orangey background. And it's all but dry. It's almost dry. And then I'm going to put on a simple little cloudy day type landscape today. So first of all, I'm going to hit pause here and get some paints out. I forgot about that bit. Okay, folks, back to it now. So let's get going here. Now, there's some phthalo green and some oxide red. There, gets a nice dark color. A little bit of ultramarine blue in it. Some mixture there, some, what do you call that, mineral spirits, and then a little bit of liquid. Now what I'm doing is I'm just going to draw on the idea of it here, just to give me an idea of where I want things to be today. All right, that's not bad. And let me see, just a nice tree off in the edge here. Look at the green that creates. That's beautiful, lovely. A little bit of oxide red on it just for warmth. And I'm going to create a nice tree here. Dancing that brush about. See that? Keeping that nice and loose for yourself. Okay. Now, I have been doing these paintings with the mind of them being quick and contrast, like lots of light in them, and that's where they have been going this last while. So sometimes that you can have the whole chroma lifted a little bit, or the whole, well, that is the right word for it, but the whole tonality of it lifted a touch, so that you have an all big bright painting and very little darks in it. But this is going to be very dark, very bright, a full spectrum, as it were. Now, what I'm doing here, this is allowing me to just dancing this about and creating some texture in here. Not some texture, trying to create a lot of texture in here. All right. Now I'm going to put in a preliminary sky here. But I want a grey one. Now, what greys out? What greys out of blue? A bit of an orangey colour greys out of blue. But I'm going to also use this green that I have here, because it'll harmonise with it. A little bit of red, a little bit of yellow. That's all too much, it's all too grey. Tiniest bit of raw umber, more blue. Give me some movement here, some viscosity. Now a little bit more red in that. And a tiny bit of ultramarine in it as well. So let me see. And a little bit more red. Alright, that's not bad. A wee bit more umber. Just knock the saturation out of it a touch as well. Umber will help do that. Right, and some liquid. And let's see where we are here. It's a nice blue. It's a bit too ceruleanly blue for me, so I'm going to put a little bit of ultramarine in it. There we go. And again, just dancing things about, keeping it all. It's a bit too. I'm not happy with this. No, it's a bit too dark. That's a bit better. I'll do the edges there a little bit happier with that. Okay. Okay, and up in here too. Now, let's get the brighter parts of it in. A little bit of yellow. Just to help this pop along here. Lovely. Right. Okay. Now, let's get in this, these background hedgerows here. Let me see along here. That's a bit too dark. That'll do. This will do the side. I'm going to create a wee bit of a plane going along here, a double or triple plane on this. Okay. Now we've got ourselves that triple plane. Or maybe more. I'll go as far as to say it's a double plane. Just there and here. Okay. All right. All right. Now this isn't going to be an alla prima painting. Not keen on doing those anymore. But it is going to, a lot of it is going to be done in the one sitting. I'm just checking my levels and everything here. So far so good. So far so good. All right. Now, what I need to do is soften this up a lot, but I need more bright in it. I'm going to use another brush to bring that in. A little bit more brightness. Just along here, just. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to wipe off some of this here. That should make it easier for me to put on a brighter spot. Just along there, and there we go. Lovely jubbly, eh? Lovely jubbly. Right. Just getting those edges softened in a little bit. Now, from your point of view here, it looks like this is leaning here. It isn't. It's just the way it's just the camera angle. It isn't off. It is straight. Okay, so let me see. Where are we? Where is my brush that I'm? There it is. This is what I'm looking for. Just a little bit. A little bit of a grey blue here, just to work up into these little hedgerows here. That's a bit bright, but I'll work it in. So I'll do this on the canvas. It is a touch brighter. That's good. That's nice, actually. Okay, and the same on this side. And I'll of course soften that with. I will soften that. It needs to be a bit, you know what, it needs to be a bit darker than that. A game of balance, folks. A game of balance. Use that, what you've already done, and it'll help create a nice gradient for you. Now what you don't want is what I have a tendency to do, is to create nipples. You know, just little bumps, 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 and they just look like nipples. So you have to be aware of that. At least I have to be anyway. Quite aware of it, actually. I'm very susceptible to repetitiveness. I think a lot of people are. You just have to bring your awareness to it. Okay, now it's created a little bit of depth there. Hopefully you can see that. Now I'm going to just work in this area. I want a nice soft brush. Now nice soft but open brush. There's one there. Softened, used and opened. And there's another one. Now what these are the Rosemary & Co. Series 2727. Let me see. They're so used. The serial number has been wiped off. So the Rosemary & Co. Long Flats Series 279. So now let's get our nice warm yellowies in here. Yellowies? You know what I mean. Let me see now. Now I think I want this sky reflected in the grass here. Okay, so let me see. And a bit brighter maybe. Tiniest bit of heat in it. Too much. Too much. There we go. That's good. Now that will mix with with all that dark that I've already put down, and I will try my best. Not always possible, but I will try my best not to completely cover it up. And when I say it's not always possible, it's just my mind runs away, and all of a sudden it's all covered up. So it is perfectly possible if you do it right. That's my point. Okay. Just dabbing this on, trying not to cover that up too much. Now I want to add some heat into it now. So I do. There we go. Lay down this heat here, working it into it. There we go. All right, not so bad now. Now I think I'm going to bring this up further. So yeah, I think I will. So let's wipe it out. You're not happy with something? What do? Just get your cloth and you just wipe it off. Simple as. It's an easy process whenever you remember to do it. It's an easy process when you realize you can do it. A lot of people think that once it's on the canvas, that's it, they've ruined it, it's done and dusted. That's not true at all. So it's not. It just isn't. You can wipe off your mistakes with oil painting. It's not always so easy to do it with acrylics because they dry so fast. But if you're aware of your mistake quickly, you can do it with oil with acrylics too. All right, beginning to get there, I think. All right, now, yeah, okay, a little bit darker in some areas. Let me see, give me, yeah, that's not bad. A bit redder. Bit of oxide red in that. Now remember, I will almost certainly come over this with a softening brush. A blender, as it were. And yes, I will come over this with a softener, with a blending brush. Why would I be doing that? I'm trying to paint and think at the same time. It's not always easy. So I would be softening, yes, to lay texture on it later. Little bit of texture. But I'm not going to completely blend it all together. I'm just taking off the edges. That's all. And I'll do it now, actually. Might as well while I'm talking about it. Gently, hardly touching the canvas, folks. Hardly touching it. I mean, it really is. There's, as you can see, there's no. This canvas is very easily to move, very easily moved, and I'm barely touching it, just with the edges of this brush. That's all that's happening here, and softening it all up. Oh, yes, that's not bad at all. I will say I'm not happy with the levels of this. I want this up a bit more. I'm being a bit too cautious with it. So I'm going to bring this up just a touch here. I'm impeding a little bit more than what I have it. I can always paint over it if I don't like the idea of it. Right, so let me get some real color down here. Nice warm oxide red and some lamp black. A little bit of, what do you call that? Mineral spirits. A little bit of mineral spirits. And then, just get this worked in for now. Very nice, that's better. Get it in here. The nice dark patches, nice dark areas. All right, now. Okay, so back to the softening brush. I'm just doing the edges here. Look at that, just topping them. Getting that all softened in. And ready for the detail that's going to be coming to it. All right, that's a bit better. That's a bit better. Just having a wee look-see, The sky is good so far. I want to reshape that tree a little bit, and I think I'll get myself a small brush, and I will do it now if I can find my little brushes, whatever they may be, whatever they may be. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, there you are. There you are. All right. So, I'm going to just just reshape this a little touch for now. And you know what? I think maybe I'm going to go into the sky here and use the wetness of the sky to create this, the softened edges of this tree. Just getting that covered up. Right, let me see now. Obviously that's not a good shape. So let's just create the shape then. Now, and that, you see, that is dragging the color of the sky into the tree. It's a nice way, nice quick way to do it for yourself. Or you're just using the wetness that's already down. Now I'm happier, much happier with the shape of this tree. All right, yes, I'm going to leave that for the time being. And I'm not happy with this plane that I have going on here, so I'm going to fix this plane that I have going on here. I'm going to drop it down a touch. Let me see. That's a bit better. I'm going to soften the edges of this here. So I need a small, just a very small soft brush. And there's one there. It doesn't really matter what it is. I think it's a Da Vinci Junior Synthetics, very soft, size 1. And all I'm doing is just using it to, it's a dry brush. And all I'm doing is using it to soften the edges of this. Now, like I said, I won't be fully completing this, but a good bit of it is done. So, oh, I forgot about the water, folks. I forgot about the water. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. These are all going, what are you doing? What about the water? Right, let me see. I'll put a grey in here, a blue-grey. Just to match the sky. Let me see now. That's good. I'll be able to, I'm just going to work this in for now. And then whenever it dries, I will create a nice brighter spots in it. And better shapes. I don't like that overall shape at the moment. I'll get a better shape in that. In fact, I'll do a little bit of that now. Just trying to work it together. Not completely cover it up. Look at that. That works well, so it does. That's working well. And whenever the time comes, it will allow me to put in little later spots here and there. Now, of course, I'm going to come along and soften this in a memento. Do it now. Okay, gently now, really gently. Barely touching. Look at that, hardly touching it at all. That really softens it up now. Now I think my things are still wet. I'm going to add in a little bit of texture here, using what I already using my brushes and the colors that I have down. Right, so I just had one of those wee moments where I looked at it, I was like, oh, am I recording? Yes, I was recording. But funny how you have those wee moments, isn't it? Anywho's. Alrighty, let's see now. Now, I'm going to be doing this with the knowledge that I will be softening it up for the most part, in order to come along whenever it is dried and put the details on top of it. And what this is, basically just a, hold on a wee second, I need to give myself a bit of a memento here. Okay. Right. Just taking a good bit off the brush and then laying this down as pieces of grass, like so, along the edges here, like so. Now this works better whenever it is dried, but whenever it's wet like this, it allows me to blend it in, give it a nice soft background. That's the point of what I'm doing here now. All right. So let me see. And whenever it's dried as well, I'll be able to glaze it and glaze it and tone it and whichever way suits. Look at that. Going in the direction that I want the grasses to grow whenever I'm putting the detail in, and then just soften in that direction. You see? Wonderful. That's coming along rightly. And I think what I'll do is I'll just take a moment. You see, I don't like this here. I don't like it. I don't like this. So I don't. Right, so let's get myself to like it then. It's too performative. And what I mean by that is it's drawing your eye too much. It's like, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. And I don't want that to be the case. I want this area here to be the focal point with the reflection in the water. So this is what's wrong with what I'm doing here. So I'm going to just soften this down a bit. I don't mind a little sticky outy bit, which is of course is a technical term, but I don't want them screaming at you. Yeah. Well, I'm unsure. We'll see. All right, okay. What I'll do is I'll wait until it's dried, and I'll glaze that a little bit better. But anyway, that'll do for the time being. So far, just having a wee look-see. Okay, I think just for future purposes, I'm going to lay down a shadow here, just for this tree here. I've been trying to, but I keep losing it, and now I'm not going to lose it. Nice and gently, folks. Nice and gently. And then, where is my other little softening brush? I think it's just wiping off what's on it and just barely touching it, Look at that. All right. At least for the time being, that will do. And whenever it dries, I'll come back and finish it. So I'll see you all soon. Bye for now. Okay, folks, back to this one now. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to warm this up and cool it down. I'm going to warm this area a little bit and cool this area down as well. It's not too far to be done, just some details put into it here and there. All right, so get a couple of soft brushes out. Excuse me while I cough. Okay, back again. Now, there are areas here that need fixing up, but I'm going to begin with a glazing here. A little bit of a warming up moment here. So plenty of liquid and some oxide red and cadmium yellow for my glazing. Now let me see. Now that's not a glaze. What that is, that's not a glaze. That is a painting job. So let's just gently take it off. Just leaving a little bit of it behind. Now, I used a cloth there nicely, but the next time I'm going to be using a kitchen towel. It doesn't remove quite as much as the cloth does. Now, as you see, I'm staying slightly away from this area here. I want it to be cool, slightly cool. Right, so kitchen roll. Just working that in. There we go. Warm that slightly. Now let's cool the other side of it down. Let's cool this area down around here. So some ultramarine. And remembering that it's a glaze, so lots and lots of liquid. Now, little tiny bit of black on it. And a little bit of yellow. Just a little bit, just to green it a touch. Let me see here. So, just cooling this area down along here. A little bit cooler. And a little bit cooler again. I want it to be a nice contrast. Oh. But it's got to be a glaze, not a painting. Okay, now let's take some of that off. Just going to dab this off. Just around the edges here, and just gently, not being too rough with it here. There we go. Now, right, so what am I doing now? Right, I want to work on this area here. I'm not happy with this. It needs to be a bit darker, a bit grayer, a bit bluer. Okay, so let me see. Now this is let me just see this. It's a bit, no. I'm going to put it on and wipe it off again and see what it's like. See what wiping it off leaves behind before I make any decisions. Okay, now. see, it's a bit better. It's not quite there yet though. I think what I might do is that I might paint it on instead of glazing it. I'll just give myself a small brush here. A little bit of white to this blue. A little bit of black. Bit of raw umber, really desaturated. More blue. And let's see now for tonal purposes. Let me see here. No. More blue. And a little bit more white. There we go, a bit happier with this now. It's a bit better. Yeah, a little bit white, a little bit more whiter. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do, is I'll paint this area in here. And I'll work everything in to suit that. So let me get some white here and some cerulean. Nice cool blue, a little bit of black, just to desaturate it a bit. A little bit of raw umber too, just a bit. So let me see here. Bit too much like the sky, too much sky in it. Here, let me see. A little bit more ultramarine. There we go, that's a bit better. Now what I'm going to be doing here is just softening these edges. Making it look like they're all working into each other. Okay, now let's soften the whole thing. Right, now, this is a game of back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. You don't want to work it too much though, you know. Trying not to work it too much. Okay, no, yes, that's better. Happier with that. Now, let's put a glaze of this blue on the ground. So put it on and wipe it off. Just along here. And however you wipe it off determines how much is left behind. Now, those of you will recognize that, some of you will recognize that, hold on, I may not wipe any of that off. That's nice. Those of you will recognize that I'm blending this cool in with the warm glaze that I've just put down. So let me just see what this looks like here. I take a little bit of it off. There we go. Nice and misty and cool. Very good, very good. Okay. Now, the sky. I want to work on the sky. So I do. I want to work on the sky. It's a bit dark. Let me see. That's not bad. It's almost exactly the tone that's down. Just wetting this. Goodness me, can barely talk. Now here's I want a bit of mist around the edges of these here. So I do. Just having it. as if the sky is impeding in on the tree. Now let's work this in. What I will do is I'll work it in, and then I'll wipe it off. Okay. Okay, now just gentle. I'm kind of liking it where it's sitting at the minute, so I'm just taking a little bit of the edge off it. There we go. Nice and misty. Now, I think the only things left for me to do is fix up the sky a little bit, and then put in some detail in the grass, and fix up the water. So not too far before we're finished. So let me get a small brush for the sky. All right, what is this? This is a... oh, it's a cheap brush. It's nothing to write home about. Right, so some white, tiniest bit of yellow, and lots of liquid over here. Just taking a good bit off the brush and scumbling this on. Now I'm going to wipe off a little bit more on the brush. Just wipe it off, sorry. And I'm just going to scumble what's on here. Bringing this and softening these edges quite a bit. Okay, getting that a nice soft. And I just want to fix up the shape of the clouds a touch here. Just up along here. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the brightness of the camera so that you can see it a bit better. Okay. Hopefully you can see that a bit better. Now let's work that in. Nice and soft. Round around the edges. Okay. And then, let's finish it off. I'll get another brush. Let's finish this off with a nice spot. Nice bright spot in the center. Okay. Just about here. Excuse me. Okay, nice and bright. Now it's hard to pick that up, I will say. It's hard to pick that up on camera, for sure it is. So I'm just going to soften the edges here. You should be able to see it in the finished photograph though. Nice brighter spot. Right. Okay, now let's work on the water here, and then we'll finish with the small details on the grasses. So all I want is a little tiny bright spot here and there on this. Just to give you the idea that that's where the water is. Now I'm going to work this in. First of all. Okay. It's just a slightly brighten that a touch, and then give it just one bright spot, just along there. See that? Now that'll show the. Oh. I'll show the water is being reflected here. Now what I want to do is just put in some very light water edges here. Let me see, I think that this is too bright. It is, it's a bit too bright. A bit too bright. I just want you to see them and no more. see. Okay, now I'm going to just work this in a touch as well. Just softening it a little bit. All right. Now let's get some small details on the grasses, and then we'll call it a day. Okay, so where's my little fine brush? Brush. Where are you? This one will do. This one will do. Right, so a nice brightish green here. Just using what's on the palette to green this. And let me see. Okay. Bit brighter. Lots of little ticks and flicks. And I don't want you to be too caught up with it. Now what I might do is I might, the viscosity of the liquid isn't thin enough. So I might just pull out the, yeah, I think I will. It's not properly coming off the brush. So this is just the ordinary spirits. And this will lower the viscosity of it. This will make it a little bit more ink-like, a little bit more runny. Oh, the smell of that. Right, and it should help it stick a bit better. So let me see. Now, maybe too thin this. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not happy with it. But it's allowing me to lay down a little bit of, no, okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do it. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. Okay. That's a bit better. Just getting some details in. Not being too finicky about it, but just getting in. Look at that. Just run that in this similar direction, and then just soften it in a touch. Okay. And I think, folks, that I'm all but done here. What I'm going to do is just put in a few darker silhouetted grasses over the water. Alright, okay. Now let me see. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to use a wee trick here. There we go, it's just a bit of bunched up thread. That's all it is. And I'm going to lay down some greens here. Bit of a cool green, bit of a ultramarine green, just, and then put a little bit of liquid or a little bit of mineral spirits on it, and then soak it up with this, and then just plant it on here and here. Okay. I think that works pretty well at times, you know. Right, so let me try it again. It takes up a lot of paint. Okay, so scrumple it up. Just get a bit of thread, scrumple it up, dip it into the mixture that you have here, swirl it around, and then just plant it here. And it gives you a lot of randomizations, a lot of you see that? Okay, and then soften it up, just gently, just barely. It's going to blow on it because this is most of this is mineral spirits, so just to help it soften it a touch. Barely, or help it dry it up a little bit before I hit it with the blender. Barely touching, folks. There we go. Now we have a nice little landscape. Okay, folks, now please like and subscribe if you would. And am I done? Am I done? No, I don't. I'm not done. No, not quite. Not quite. I just want a little bit more life along here. Is all. Let me see this first. Just putting in a little bit of. It's a bit too warm. Put in a little bit of coolness along here. Just some movement, you know, some texture. Now, let's take a good bit of it off. Just leaving a little bit of a hint of it behind. It gives it a little bit of sparkling light here and there. And I will do the same with a warmer tone. Just little highlights, you know. As if little bits of the tufts of grass are picking up a bit of light. And again, you come along and wipe it off a touch. Leaving, I suppose the way you can put it is you're leaving a residue of it behind. All right. Almost there, I say. Almost there, I say. A little bit of a glazing here. I want to soften this edge a touch. This edge along here. Okay, alrighty now. Just breaking it up, folks, you know, just softening the edges so that it's not too straight liney. Alright. Yeah, that's a bit better. Now, there we go. Right, so if you would, folks, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. So, I'll call this one a day, and bye for now.